And all, it is the meeting of the Snowy Valleys Council. It was on the 25th of May. Before we commence, I would like to remind people that this meeting is being live streamed for the public record, and that all contents, or that no contents can be retransmitted or recorded without prior permission. I thank you. And before we start, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I'd also like to pay my respect to elders past and present. It is now 2:03, I think that may be correct, 2:02, thereabouts. Apologies and leave of absence, there are none. Declaration of pecuniary interest, there are none. Public forum, there have been no applications, there are none. Item 5, confirmation of minutes on page 3. That is the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the 27th of April. If Mrs. Whitehead may help me, I did not know of any matters arising from that meeting. Is that correct? That being so, I hereby resolve these minutes for a true and accurate record. We therefore move on to an extraordinary meeting which was held on the Wednesday of May. Again, that was for specific issues. There are no matters arising from this meeting. It was fairly straightforward, and those minutes are hereby resolved. That moves us on to business arising. None. Correspondence petitions. There are none that I'm aware of. Notices of motion, notices of rescission, item 7, there are none. Item 8, governance and financial reports, which are on page 13. Tanya's not here, so Mr. Proctor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. The statements of investments has been completed for the end of April, and I believe the report is pretty much self-explanatory. I really have nothing more to add in that regard. Interest rates are pretty much stable at the moment at the lower end of the spectrum. They'll probably remain so for quite a while.
Thank you, Mr. Proctor. As you will all note, the Council is currently in a very sound position, which is gratifying. Therefore, the recommendation that the Council receive a statement of investments as at 30th of April 2017 is hereby resolved. That moves us on to budget review on page 19, item 8.2. Mr. Proctor or Mrs. Whitehead, who cares to speak to this?
I'll speak to that, Mr. Administrator. Just the March budget review has now been completed and is now has been handed out. This was an interesting review as such, but apart from being a normal March review, we've also had to include the period 12 transactions from last year when the new council was merged. So it's actually, and that period 12 is actually from the 13th of May to the 30th of June. A previous report reported to council said that we would bring those figures forward, but it's been quite an interesting way of trying to get it into our system. I don't think any other institution and such has had to do a 13 period year like we've had in this regard. But nonetheless, to identify those transactions that were brought from the period 12 of the former year, financial year, they're being placed in a separate column throughout the attached document, and any variations for the March quarter were recorded accordingly. The biggest issue of note, our revised operating result was jumped from 6.5 million to 17.4 million. This is primarily a result of receiving the 15 million in implementation funds in June as a result of the merger. As mentioned at the last estimates workshop with the LRC. The peculiarity of local government finances, you've got to recognise the income in that year, whilst the expenditure may be in future years. So, as mentioned at the last LRC meeting, we will start seeing the expenditure coming in 17-18 as such, resulting in a small deficit for 17-18, which will be reported in the next report. But we were given a large receipt of income in the 16-17.
So we're whittling down the large amount we were given progressively.
We were whittling down.
Thank you.
So,
utilising it.
yeah.
There is a lot of work in this, I can see, and it has taken a fair bit of time. So, anything else to add?
Other areas where capital projects are now started being finished, have been finished, they've been now closed off, and any variations have been reported. Some major projects which won't be completed this year have been treated as carried forward and included in the 17-18 estimates. Primarily these are the Clarks Hill project, the Tumbarumba Caravan Park, and the Tumbarumba Retirement Village. These are included automatically into the 17-18 documents, 17-18 estimates for adoption. So apart from that, I believe the report and its attachment speaks for itself.
Thank you. As I said, there's obviously been a lot of work in this. So the recommendation that the budget review as at 31 March 2017 be received and the alterations to votes contained therein be adopted is hereby resolved. Item 8.3, draft integrated planning and reporting documents. That's on page 20. Mrs. Whitehead, would you care to speak to these?
Yes, I can do that in the absence of Mr. Tonkin. So this now brings together the operational plan for 2017-18, and which is the last year of our delivery program of the former Tumbarumba and Tumut to form Snowy Valleys Council. So it's now a single document this year, and however it is still an interim year based on the plans of the former two councils. When the newly elected council comes in, the budgets and the long-term plans will be fully integrated. There has been quite a review of some of the fees and charges, and where possible the two fees and charges have been aligned, but there are some specific instances where the fees and charges and the arrangements in the two former areas are quite different, so they have in some cases been left separate, and there are a few specific areas that have been looked at and some adjustments have been made, which are detailed on page, starting on page 21. Those specific areas that were looked at were the sporting field charges across the Shire, where in Tumut Shire, the former Tumut Shire, there were no charges except for specific charges in particular instances, and in the former Tumbarumba Shire area there were individual ground fees. So slightly different approaches have been taken in the coming year in relation to those. And I might actually get Director of Environmental Services Gus Cox to talk to that.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. We looked at the differences between the two former shires, and it was elected not to amend it at this point in time, given that the sporting groups in the former Tumut Shire had spent a lot of money on their grounds, substantially more money than the sporting groups in the Tumba Shire, and that was generally endorsed by the council at the time. So, subject to a detailed review in this coming financial year, it was determined to leave it as it was, whereas it is as detailed in the fees and charges.
Moving on to the next one, which has been contentious over the past year. It's been the issue of free waste days, whereby there were 4 held in former Tumut Shire, 4 free waste days per year, and none in the former Tumbarumba Shire. But in order to fund the free waste days in Tumbarumba, there was a Shire-wide waste fee of $50, access fee per property, and there was no access fee per property in the former Tumbarumba Shire area. So on review of that, it is proposed, and this of course will be on exhibition for 1 month for active feedback, it's proposed to bring in a $25 fee across the Shire in the former Tumbarumba area, and in return have 2 free waste days, and to continue the 4 free waste days and the current access fee of $50 in the former Tumbarumba Shire area. This is an interim arrangement again until the new council can consider what would be equitable across the whole of the council area. Another further one that was changed is the gate charges. This has been adjusted because there was considerable difference between the 2 councils, and again, if the administrator would refer, Director of Environmental Services Gus Cox will detail the reasoning behind that one.
Thanks, Mr. Administrator. The 2 former shires had substantially different gate charges, and the former Tumbarumba Shire had a waste minimisation policy which had a higher gate charge to promote recycling. So what we elected to do is look at a compromise in between there to have a reduced gate charge but have a higher gate charge for people who don't separate their recycling from their general waste. And as the General Manager alluded to, that will go out on exhibition. So we do believe we're going to get a fair few comments in relation to these specific charge, but we'll assess them on their merits when they come in. I think it's a lot fairer system, and it still promotes waste minimisation and promotes recycling. So it's a good compromise, but we'll see what comes in.
Yeah. And finally, the last area in which there are significant differences between the 2 former council areas was in Section 94 and Section 64 contributions. Whereby the former Tumbarumba Shire Council had contributions in its plans and the former Tumbarumba Shire area did not. We believe that this is a complex area that really needs to be thoroughly looked at, and will need to take the forthcoming 12 months to align those, and again with an elected council to determine the outcome of that review. All the other detailed fees and charges are listed in the plans and will be on public exhibition, so again we will be inviting public comment.
Thank you, Mrs. Whitehead and Mr. Cox. Therefore, the recommendation that Council adopt the following draft reports. Draft Delivery Program incorporating the Operational Plan 2017-2018. Draft 2017-2018 Operational Budget. Draft 2017-2018 Schedule of Fees and Charges and Revenue Policy. And 2, that in accordance with sections 402 subsection 6, 404 subsection 4 and 405 subsection 3 of the Local Government Act, the adopted draft reports be placed on public exhibition for a period of not less than 28 days before consideration of any submissions received and adopted by Council. That is hereby resolved, and I thank you for that. It's a very difficult and intricate process. Item 9, management reports. And again, Mrs. Whitehead, please, if you could inform us.
I think it is well described in the report, but basically just to say this is a result of new legislation that all councils have to adopt a Disability Inclusion Action Plan, and it has to be in place by 1 July 2017. The draft plan is attached to the report, and it is proposed that it be placed on public exhibition for comment over the forthcoming 28 days for adoption in June.
Thank you, Mrs. Whitehead. I'd also like to thank the community committee and the staff involved in preparation of this report. It's a critical stepping stone for us, and I thank them for the time they've taken. So therefore, the recommendation is that Council adopt the Snowy Valleys Council Disability Inclusion Action Plan and place it on public exhibition for consultation for a period of 28 days before formal adoption at the June Council meeting is hereby resolved. That brings us up to the 9.2, the Tumut Local Environmental Plan 2012, and Mr. Cox, I believe, will be speaking to this if required.
Mr. Administrator, this proposed amendment to the Tumut LEP being Amendment 4 it's a very minor amendment. It's an amendment that was generally endorsed by the former council, the Tumut Council, back in March 2016, but at that point in time it was decided to pull it out due to the whole, there was a series of amendments that were going in at that time, and for this amendment they would have had to re-advertise all the other amendments, being amendments 3, so they elected to pull this out to allow the other amendments to go through. So this is it relates to some land on the southeastern side of Tumut, and it's to amend the lot size and also obviously the zoning to permit residential development, and it complies with their current strategies. So it's a very non-controversial amendment. You'll note in the report there's a recommendation in relation to some rezoning of some land in Adelong, and at this point in time it's proposed to revisit that in coming amendments to the LEP, as it can't be justified that it complies with the previous growth strategy in that area. So at this point in time, not to proceed with the Adelong Rimmers Lane rezoning, but to proceed with the Tumut Plains rezoning.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. The recommendation is that 1, that pursuant to Section 54 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, Council prepare a planning proposal to rezone lots 1 and 3 DP 506932 Tumut Plains Road, and lots 1 and 2 DP 836586, and lots 2, 3 and 4 Section 2 DP 759004 Blowering Road, Tumut, from R5 large lot residential to R2 low density residential, with a minimum lot size for erection of a dwelling house of 600 square metres. And the second recommendation, the council not take any further action to rezone land in Rimmers Lane, Adelong, until such time as a need for additional zoned land can be justified in accordance with the Tumut Shire Growth Strategy 2013 to 2033. And that is hereby resolved. Thank you, Mr. Cox. Now, at this stage, I must note there is a late management report. Thank you, Mrs. Whitehead. And it is this will be item 9.3, that the following late report be deemed to be of an urgent nature and be received and dealt with in that will be within 11.6 proposed ICT strategy under committee of the whole. Is that correct? Thank you, Mrs. Whitehead. So I'll resolve that that's accepted. Which moves us on to minutes of committee meetings, item 10, 10.1, page 29. And this is the minutes of the Internal Audit Committee, held on Wednesday the 10th of May, and the resolution is that the minutes of the Internal Audit Committee held on the 10th of May 2017 be received, and the resolutions contained therein be noted. And that is hereby resolved. This moves us into the committee of the whole, and I apologise for those who are watching this live streaming. This could be a long process. This one, we've got some, you can see we've got a fair bit of paperwork to get through, so this may take a while. So bear with us if you will. If not, I'm sorry, Mr. Whitehead. Yes, the recommendations the council moved to the committee of the whole are item 1's request for water reduction account meter 98B073015, item 11.2 request for reduction in water account meter R01002027, 11.3 request for reduction in water account meter 16W050773, item 11.4 request for reduction in water account meter 09B031592, 11.5 Little River Road, 11.6 proposed ICT strategy. So at this stage, I resolve to move into committee of the whole. And all members of the public hereby leave. Thank you.
any interest that has accrued. In relation to item 11.2, request for reduction in water account meter R01002027, I can report that Council resolved to reduce the water account for meter R01002027 for the period November 16 to February 2017 by $1,000. And the Council write off interest charged on the overdue amount. In relation to 11.3, request for reduction in water account meter 16W050773, I can report the Council resolved to reduce the water account for meter 16W050773 for the November to February quarter by $391.29 plus any interest that had accrued. And in relation to 11.4, request for a reduction in water account meter 09B031592. Council resolved to reduce the water account for meter 09B031592 for the November to February quarter by $184.32 and to write off any interest that has accrued. In relation to 11.5, Little River Road, Council resolved that Council instruct Kelmore lawyers to assist Council to draft a letter to Mr Inglis detailing Council's obligations and intentions in relation to Little River Road and access to his property, and 2, to erect appropriate signage. In relation to item 11.6, proposed ICT strategy, Council resolved that 1, Council adopt the Snowy Valleys Council Information, Communication and Technology (ICT) amalgamation strategy and undertake the initiatives contained within at an estimated cost of $2.055 million to implement. 2, establish an ICT steering committee with membership as per recommendation contained in the report, and that Votar partners be engaged on a short-term basis at a contract rate of $1,600 per day. And 3, adopt PDK's communication proposal as part of the ICT strategy network uplift and allocate funds of $80,000, $873 for components and $10,000 for labour from the implementation fund.
Thank you, Mrs Whitehead. It now being, is this clock 2:39, I thank those for attending and I hereby declare this meeting closed. Thank you. Very good.